I'm halfway through my quarterly projections when my phone vibrates across my desk. Hazel's name lights up the screen, and I smile. My little sister rarely calls on weeknights. "Hey you," I answer, wedging the phone between my ear and shoulder as I continue typing. The Madrid sunset streams through my apartment windows, painting my financial reports in shades of orange and gold. "Clover, guess what?" Hazel's voice bubbles with excitement. "I'm moving into your old condo. Mom and Dad already said yes." My fingers freeze over the keyboard. The sunset suddenly feels too bright, almost intrusive. "Hazel, that's impossible. I own that condo." The silence that follows stretches long enough that I check to make sure the call hasn't dropped. "What do you mean?" Hazel finally responds, her tone cooler. "Mom said it's still in the family. You're in Spain making good money anyway." I push back from my desk. Standing up so quickly my chair rolls and hits the wall behind me. "No, I bought that condo from Mom and Dad 4 years ago. I have the deed. It's mine." That can't be right. The excitement in her voice has transformed completely into irritation. "Why would you be so selfish about this? I need that place, it's perfect for campus." My heart pounds against my ribs as I open my laptop, fingers now flying across the keyboard. "Hazel, listen to me. I paid $185,000 for that property. I have a tenant with a lease." "Mom never mentioned a tenant," Hazel says, suspicion creeping into her voice. I pull up the warranty deed while she's still talking, the familiar document appearing on my screen. I remember signing it, the weight of the moment, the pride I felt at owning my first home. "I'm looking at the warranty deed right now, Hazel. It's in my name. Has been for 4 years. "That's not what Mom told me." Her voice wavers, and I can picture her biting her lower lip the way she has since childhood. The realization washes over me like ice water. "What exactly did Mom tell you?" "That you were using it occasionally when you visit, but since you're living abroad now, I could have it." Her words come faster. "She said they gave it to you after college, but it's still family property." I press my palm against my forehead, connecting pieces of a puzzle I didn't know existed until this moment. "Hazel, that's not true. I bought it. With my money. From them." "Well, if you come back, just rent another place," Hazel says defensively. "Let me live there for free." The sunset has deepened to crimson now, casting long shadows across my apartment. I take a deep breath. "Without a lease, you have no right to move in," I say, keeping my voice level despite the tremor threatening to break through. "And I wouldn't put my tenant out on the street. There are laws about these things." "Laws," Hazel repeats, as if I've invoked something foreign. "You've always had everything handed to you." Her voice breaks on the last word. The call ends before I can respond. I stand motionless, staring at the Madrid skyline as darkness creeps across the city. Everything handed to me? I worked 3 jobs to put myself through school. Mom and Dad hadn't contributed a dime to my education, or so they claimed. I sink back into my chair, a heaviness settling in my chest that has nothing to do with the distance between Spain and home. I pull up my email and search for correspondence with my property management company, confirmation that my tenant's lease is valid for another 8 months. My phone lights up again. "Mother." I watch it vibrate across my desk, the screen eventually going dark as the call diverts to voicemail. Something isn't right here. The condo purchase, Hazel's mistaken beliefs, my parents' lies, they form a pattern I can't yet fully see, but one I can sense. I've spent my career finding financial discrepancies in spreadsheets and ledgers. I recognize the feeling of something not adding up. I turn back to my computer and start a new search, this time for flights back to the States. Some truths can only be uncovered in person. The next morning, the light streams through the blinds of my Madrid office, casting stripes across the quarterly projections I've been staring at for 20 minutes without absorbing a single number. My phone vibrates against the desk for the 5th time in an hour. "Mother." Again. I flip the device face down and rub my temples. The knot in my stomach has only tightened since last night's call with Hazel. Sleep came in short bursts, interrupted by fragments of memories signing the deed, transferring the money. My mother's beaming smile as she'd said, "We're so proud of you for this responsible decision, Clover." Was any of it real? The phone buzzes again, skittering closer to the edge. I snatch it before it falls, and see 13 messages in our family thread. I scroll through them without opening, seeing only previews. "Clover Maria Lopez, we need to talk about. Your sister is devastated. She was counting on. Pick up your phone." This behavior is completely My colleague Daniela passes by, eyebrows raised at my scowl. I force a smile and turn toward the window, finally hitting the call button. Mother answers on the first ring. How dare you upset your sister like that? Her voice slices through pleasantries like a hot knife. Good morning to you too, Mom. I keep my tone neutral. Professional, the same voice I use with difficult clients. Don't take that tone with me. She inhales sharply. Hazel cried herself to sleep last night. She's already told her roommates she's moving out. Do you have any idea what you've done? I press my forehead against the cool glass window, watching Madrid traffic flow 30 floors below. I told her the truth. I own that condo, legally, with documentation. That was just a formality, Clover. Her voice softens into something more dangerous. Family property stays in the family. We never intended for you to treat it like some investment. The word investment falls from her lips like something rotten. I straighten my spine. It's not a formality when I paid $185,000 for it. Each syllable is precise, measured. Money I earned, from my account to yours. Money we put straight into your sister's education. She snaps back. Did you think about that? While you're gallivanting across Europe with your fancy job, your sister is trying to finish college. I pull up my banking app, the habit of verifying figures too ingrained to ignore. Mom, I have a tenant with 8 months left on their lease. They're paying market rate $950 a month. They have rights. $950? Her voice rises an octave. You're charging someone to live in family property while your sister needs a place to live? You have no heart. After all we've done for you. The familiar guilt rises, but something new pushes back against it, anger, sharp and clarifying. What exactly have you done for me? The words escape before I can contain them. I worked 3 jobs through college. I took out loans. I paid for that condo with money I earned after graduation. We raised you. Her voice trembles with indignation. We provided a roof over your head, food, clothing, and this is how you repay us? By refusing to help your sister when you clearly don't need that money? I close my eyes, steadying myself. The condo wasn't a gift. It was a purchase. Well, that's not what Hazel believes. Mother's voice turns smug. Everyone in the family knows how generous we were, giving you that property after college. The pieces click together. You told the entire family I didn't pay for it. I told them the truth, that we helped you get established. And now you have an obligation to do the same for your sister. My hand tightens around the phone. Mom, I can pull up the wire transfer right now. $185,000. My money to your account. Not a gift. That money went straight to Hazel's tuition. Do you think college is cheap these days? While you're building your career, we've been supporting her dreams too. Something in her tone triggers my auditor instincts. The mental spreadsheet doesn't balance. If you don't let Hazel move in, I'll have no choice but to tell everyone how selfish you've become. She continues. Your grandparents would be so disappointed. After all the sacrifices we made for your education. What sacrifices? I interrupt, surprising us both. Name one thing you paid for in my education. The silence stretches so long I check my screen to make sure we're still connected. I don't have to justify myself to my own daughter. Her voice is ice now. Let your sister move into the condo, or you'll regret it. Is that a threat? It's reality. Family supports family, period. I end the call before saying something truly unforgivable. The phone immediately buzzes with a text, but it's not from Mother. Aunt Marlene, we need to talk. Privately. Relief washes through me. Aunt Marlene, Mother's sister, has always been the family truth teller, the one who remembers events as they actually happened, not as Mother reimagines them. If anyone knows what's really going on, it's her. I text back. When? Her response comes instantly. Tonight. 9 p.m. Your time. Video call. Don't tell your mother. I set the phone down and turn back to my computer, but the numbers blur before my eyes. The only calculation I can focus on is how many pieces of this puzzle are still missing. What aren't they telling me? I whisper to the empty office, the knot in my stomach transforming into something harder, more resolute. Whatever the truth is, I'm finally ready to hear it. That night, the video window opens, and Aunt Marlene's face fills my screen. She glances over her shoulder twice before she even says hello. Is anyone home with you? I ask. No. Roger took the kids to baseball practice. Marlene lowers her voice anyway. We don't have much time. My stomach tightens. In all my 31 years, I've never seen my mother's sister look so nervous. Her fingers fidget with her collar, tugging it away from her neck as if it's suddenly too tight. Your parents have been lying to both you and Hazel for years. The words tumble out of her mouth, fast and clipped. I don't gasp, don't flinch. But my hand grips my coffee mug until my knuckles turn white. I should have spoken up sooner. Marlene's eyes water. I've known parts of this for almost 2 years. But Lorraine, she has a way of making sure people stay quiet. The Madrid morning sun streams through my blinds, creating harsh stripes across my laptop screen. I reach over and adjust them, needing something to do with my hands, while my brain processes what I'm hearing. Tell me everything, I say, surprised by the steadiness in my voice. Marlene nods, then minimizes her video. I'm sending you something first. You need to see it with your own eyes. A file appears in our chat. I open it to find a scan of an official-looking letter with a university letterhead. I start reading and my breath catches. This is Hazel's scholarship award. The words blur slightly as I scan the document. Full ride. Tuition, room and board, everything. Yes. Marlene's face reappears. $0. That's what your sister's education actually cost your parents. But they told me they were paying thousands each semester. That's why I never offered to help her out more. The betrayal slices through me, sharp and cold. I only found out because I helped Hazel with her FAFSA renewal last year. She left the acceptance letter at my house by accident. I scroll through the document again, the numbers cementing the truth. They told me they used my condo money to pay for Hazel's tuition. They lied. Marlene's voice hardens. They've been lying about money to both of you girls for years. I set down my coffee, untouched. Why are you telling me this now? Why not when you first found out? Marlene's face crumples, the mask of determination slipping to reveal raw pain. Because of what your mother said to me. She swallows hard. When I confronted Lorraine about the scholarship, she looked me right in the eye and said, "If you ever breathe a word to Mom or the girls, I'll cut you off as a sister, and I'll make everyone believe you're jealous and lying." The venom in Marlene's impersonation of my mother sounds all too familiar. I've heard that exact tone before, though never directed at me with such naked malice. She threatened to destroy my relationship with the entire family, said she'd tell Mom I was trying to steal from her. Marlene wipes at a tear that escapes. I believed her. You know how she is when she decides someone's her enemy. I think of family reunions where cousins weren't invited because they'd insulted my mother in ways no one else remembered. The aunt who wasn't welcome for 3 years after questioning my mother's version of a childhood story. I understand. I tell Marlene, and I do. She's made you the villain in other stories before. Marlene nods gratefully. But there's more, Clover. Something bigger. About your grandmother. My grandmother died when I was 12. I remember her as warm cookies and scratchy wool sweaters at Christmas. Little else. Your grandmother left a testamentary trust for you and Hazel's education. $85,000. Your mother was the trustee. The room seems to tilt slightly. A trust? For our education? Yes. And a monthly stipend to your parents for your care. Almost $900 per month, per child, until you each turned 18. Marlene's voice trembles. Over $400,000 total, over the years. Your grandmother wanted to make sure you girls were taken care of after what happened with your grandfather's business. I remember my mother's constant complaints about struggling to make ends meet. The guilt trips when I needed money for school supplies or field trips. We'll have to tighten our belts this month, she'd say, while 2 weeks later she'd have a new designer purse. They spent it all on themselves, I whisper. Luxury vacations, shopping sprees. Your father's boat. Marlene's face is grim. Meanwhile, you worked 3 jobs through college, and Hazel believed she was dependent on their generosity for her education. The betrayal is so vast I can barely comprehend it. My parents hadn't just lied about the condo. They'd stolen our inheritance, our security, our truth. And they'd done it while making us feel guilty for every penny they supposedly spent on us. I think of Hazel's tearful accusation. You've always had everything handed to you. My throat tightens. They've been turning us against each other. Yes. Marlene looks down, making each of you believe the other was more favored, more supported. I need to talk to Hazel. The decision forms instantly. Will you help me? Be there when I tell her? Marlene straightens, a hint of steel returning to her spine. Of course I will. 2 hours later, Hazel's confused face appears on my screen. Marlene joins the call moments after. What's going on? Hazel asks, looking between us. Aunt Marlene said it was important. At Island, I take a deep breath. Hazel, I need to show you something first. I share my screen, displaying the warranty deed to my condo. This is the legal document showing I purchased the condo from Mom and Dad 4 years ago, for $185,000. Her eyes widen as she reads. But they told me. I know what they told you. I keep my voice gentle. Now I need you to show me your scholarship letter, the one from your freshman year. In Talons. Hazel blinks rapidly. How do you know about that? Please, Hazel. It's important. She disappears from view momentarily. When she returns, she's holding a folder. She pulls out a letter, hesitates, then holds it up to the camera. Can you email me a photo of it? I ask. 3 minutes later, we're all looking at the evidence. Full scholarship. 0 parental contribution. They told me they were paying thousands for my education, Hazel whispers. That's why I never questioned when they said I couldn't afford my own place. And they told me my condo money was going to your tuition, I add quietly. Hazel's eyes fill with tears. Why would they lie about this? What did they do with all that money? Marlene clears her throat. Girls, there's something else you need to know. About your grandmother's trust. As Marlene explains about the educational trust and monthly stipends, I watch the realization dawn on Hazel's face, mirroring what I felt earlier. Betrayal, confusion, anger. All those years? Hazel says, her voice breaking. I felt so guilty asking for money for school trips, for prom dresses, for anything. Mom would sigh and talk about sacrifices, and then the next weekend she and Dad would go on a business trip to Vegas. They've been manipulating us our whole lives, I say, making us feel indebted for things they never actually provided, turning us against each other so we wouldn't compare notes. The worst part, Hazel says, wiping away tears, is that I believed them when they said you were selfish for not helping with my tuition, that you didn't care about family. And I believed them when they said you resented my success and were jealous that I could afford to buy the condo. I feel a tear slip down my own cheek. We've been fighting phantoms created by our own parents. Marlene watches us silently, her own eyes glistening. I'm so sorry I didn't tell you both sooner. Hazel and I look at each other across the digital divide. For the first time in years, I see my sister clearly, not through the distorted lens our parents created. What do we do now? Hazel asks. I straighten in my chair, a plan already forming. First, we stop letting them pit us against each other. Second, we gather every piece of evidence we can find. And then? Hazel's voice is small but determined. Then we confront them, together. I hold her gaze through the screen. No more secrets, no more lies. Hazel nods, her jaw set in a way that reminds me startlingly of my own reflection. Together, she agrees. In the background, I hear Marlene exhale with relief. The truth has torn away a lifetime of illusions. But as I look at my sister and my aunt, I see something I haven't felt in years with my family. Trust. 3 days later, after collecting more documents, my laptop screen glows in the darkened Madrid apartment as Hazel's face appears. Her eyes are puffy from crying, but there's a new determination in them that I recognize, the same Lopez stubbornness our grandmother always pointed out. I can't believe they've been lying to both of us for years. Hazel says, tucking her hair behind her ear. They told me you refused to help with my tuition, said you were too busy with your fancy European life to care. My stomach twists. And they told me you were jealous of my success, that you resented me for leaving. Hazel's laugh holds no humor. Divide and conquer. Classic. We fall silent, digesting the extent of our parents' manipulation. The revelation feels like standing in quicksand. The more we uncover, the deeper we sink. I found something else, Hazel whispers, glancing over her shoulder as if our parents might materialize in her dorm room. They've been taking trips to Cabo every winter, not business conferences like they claimed. Wait, I say, sitting up straighter. I gave them $5,000 last year for Dad's supposed medical bills. Hazel's face hardens. There were no medical bills. My phone buzzes with an incoming call. It's Aunt Marlene, I tell Hazel, adding her to our video chat. Aunt Marlene appears, her silver-streaked hair pulled back, reading glasses perched on her nose. Girls, I've got more. Your grandmother's trust statements. She holds papers to the camera, too small to read clearly. Can you scan those? I ask. Already creating a shared folder. Already did. Check your emails. I open the attachment, Hazel doing the same on her end. The bank statements show regular withdrawals, $1,200 monthly for educational expenses. Nest. But I had a full scholarship, Hazel protests. And I paid for my own education, I add. Aunt Marlene nods grimly. Exactly. That money was supposed to be for you both. Your grandmother left explicit instructions. We spend the next hour organizing everything: bank statements, property documents, vacation photos extracted from Mom's Facebook profile. Each piece forms part of an undeniable pattern. We need to confront them, I say finally, rubbing my eyes. In person. Hazel nods. When? I pull up a flight search engine. How about next Thursday? That's 5 days from now, Hazel says. I'll be ready. I promise, booking the earliest available flight. Aunt Marlene removes her glasses, suddenly looking older. They won't admit anything easily. You know how your mother is, she'll twist everything. They've manipulated us long enough, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. After our call ends, I begin packing methodically. Each item I fold reminds me of some subtle undermining from my parents. The blue blouse Mom said made me look trying too hard. The watch Dad implied was wasteful when I mentioned its price. I call my property management company, confirming the tenant's lease is secure. No one enters without proper authorization, the manager assures me. That night, lying awake, I realize this trip home might be my last. Whatever happens, nothing will be the same after. The thought brings both anxiety and strange relief. My flight lands Thursday afternoon. Hazel waits at the arrivals gate, looking both younger and older than when I left. We embrace, holding tight enough to hurt. Hey, big sis, she says, voice muffled against my shoulder. The drive to our childhood home passes in reflective silence. Fall leaves scatter across the familiar streets, golden and transient. I rehearse what to say, anticipating denials and deflections. Hazel parks in the driveway of the colonial-style house where we grew up. The place looks smaller somehow, less imposing than in my memories. Mom's carefully tended mums line the walkway in autumnal orange and rust. We sit a moment, engine off, listening to it tick as it cools. I found Mom's diary, Hazel says suddenly. She wrote about using your condo money for a kitchen renovation and cruise. The final piece clicks into place. I squeeze Hazel's hand, feeling our shared strength. Are you ready for this? She whispers as we approach the front door. I nod, surprising myself with how calm I feel. More than ready. The doorbell chimes the same 8 notes it always has, a sound from childhood now heralding the end of childhood illusions. The front door swings open, and my parents' faces register genuine shock before transforming into a calculated performance of welcome. Mom recovers first, her surprised gasp morphing into a tight smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Clover! Dad exclaims, his voice too loud in the entryway. Our successful daughter returns from Europe. What a wonderful surprise. Mom steps forward, arms outstretched, but I step back, keeping distance between us. Her eyes flick toward Hazel, who stands beside me, clutching a manila folder. Let's not discuss that condo business now, Mom says, her voice honey-sweet but her eyes sharp. I've made your favorite pot roast. We can talk after dinner. We're talking now, I say, my voice steadier than I expected. The 36-hour journey from Madrid has left me exhausted, but the anger coursing through me provides unexpected clarity. Hazel moves toward the dining room. We've prepared some things to show you. Dad's smile falters. Can't this wait? Your mother's gone to a lot of trouble. So have we, I interrupt, following Hazel. The dining room table gleams with the same polished oak surface I remember from childhood family meetings. How many times had I sat here, accepting their version of reality, believing their stories about financial struggle while they took luxury cruises with money meant for us? Hazel places the folder on the table and opens it with trembling fingers. She extracts 3 documents and arranges them in a neat row. What is this? Mom asks, her voice hardening as she recognizes the papers. Evidence, Hazel answers simply. Dad sinks into his chair, the color draining from his face as he stares at the warranty deed I've placed squarely before him. Where did you get these? Mom demands, lunging forward to gather the papers. Her manicured nails scrabble against the tabletop as I firmly place my palm on the documents. The deed is from my records. I say. The scholarship letter is Hazel's. And the bank statements? I tap the third document. Aunt Marlene kept copies. Mom freezes. Marlene had no right. She had every right, Hazel interrupts. Someone needed to tell us the truth. Dad finds his voice. This is all just a misunderstanding. Is it? I slide the scholarship letter toward him. Hazel received a full ride. You told her tuition was costing thousands. You told me the condo money went to her education. You told me Clover refused to help with my education costs, Hazel adds. You lied to both of us. Mom's denial strategy crumbles visibly. Her shoulders straighten and her jaw sets in a familiar expression I've seen whenever she's cornered. Fine. She snaps. So what if we did? We raised you. That's enough. The money from Mom was our reward. The room goes silent. I stare at her, waiting for some sign of remorse or shame. Dad nods. It was ours to spend however we wanted. It was a trust, I counter, my voice quiet but razor-edged. Grandmother left it specifically for our education. And we educated you, didn't we? Mom throws back. You both got diplomas. What we did with the money is our business. Hazel's breath catches beside me. I feel her body tense. You stole from your own children, I say, standing up slowly. $85,000 from grandmother's trust. And you tried to steal my condo too. And you tried to turn us against each other, Hazel adds, rising to stand beside me. Her voice wavers but doesn't break. You almost succeeded. Mom's face hardens into something I barely recognize. We did what was best for this family. No, I correct her. You did what was best for yourselves. Dad won't meet our eyes, staring instead at his hands folded on the table, the same hands that signed those bank withdrawals, the same hands that patted our heads while he promised we were his priority. If you walk out that door, Mom says, her voice cold, don't expect to be welcomed back. The threat hangs in the air, intended to bring us to heel as it has so many times before. I look at Hazel, expecting fear in her eyes, but find only resolve. We never really were, Hazel responds softly. Welcome, I mean, not unless we were useful to you. I gather the documents, returning them to the folder. We'll be pursuing legal options regarding grandmother's trust. I suggest you prepare accordingly. Mom laughs, the sound brittle. Good luck proving anything after all this time. Aunt Marlene kept everything, I counter. Bank statements, emails, even the trustee documents you made her sign as witness. Dad's head snaps up. She wouldn't dare. She already has, Hazel says. She has nothing left to lose with you two. We move toward the door together, our steps synchronized. No one follows us, no one calls us back. No tearful pleas or last-minute confessions. Outside, the afternoon sun feels too bright for the heaviness in my chest. Hazel takes my hand as we walk to my rental car. They didn't even try to apologize. She whispers. They don't think they did anything wrong. I reply, unlocking the doors. That's the scariest part. We climb in, and I start the engine. The house where we grew up shrinks in the rearview mirror, becoming smaller with each second just like the hold it has on us now. Where to? I ask. Hazel wipes a single tear from her cheek. Forward. Anywhere that's forward. I nod and drive away from the past, my sister beside me, our shared truth between us like a shield. The Madrid sunset paints my apartment in amber hues as I position my laptop on the kitchen counter. Hazel's face appears on screen, her smile wider than I've seen it in years. You're not gonna believe this, she says, turning her laptop to show off her new studio apartment. I found the perfect spot 3 blocks from campus. I lean closer to the screen. Look at you with the grown-up furniture. The contrast with our video call 6 months ago feels like comparing different lifetimes. Yard sale special. Hazel laughs, patting the second-hand couch. But it's mine. Well, mine and the bank's for the security deposit you helped with. The $300 transfer went through for this month? I ask, opening my banking app. Right on schedule. Hazel's voice softens. I still can't believe you're doing this. Family helps family, real family. I sip my coffee, watching her arrange textbooks on a small shelf. How many hours at the coffee shop this week? 28. Manager says I make the best cappuccinos on campus. She mimics frothing milk with exaggerated focus. Between that and your help, I'm actually building savings. The memory of our parents' cold stares flashes through my mind, but fades quickly. Aunt Marlene joining our Sunday call? She promised, Says she's bringing big news. I smile, thinking of how our aunt stepped forward when it mattered most. Remember when we thought family meant suffering through manipulation? Weekly budget check first? Hazel holds up her notebook, adorably serious with her financial tracking. Our ritual, now the antithesis of the secrets that poisoned our childhood. You're becoming more financially savvy than me, I say, feeling a pride no accomplishment in Madrid has matched. Hazel snorts. Not even close, but I haven't eaten ramen 3 nights straight this week, so progress. My phone buzzes. Mother, again. 5th attempt this month. Hazel notices my expression change. Them? I nod, silencing the phone without looking. Still trying. Last week, Dad sent a card. I returned it unopened. Hazel straightens her shoulders, a gesture that reminds me of myself. My therapist says that's healthy boundaries, not cruelty. Mine says the same thing, I admit. The support group helping? Turns out lots of people discover their parents weren't who they claimed to be. She tucks her hair behind her ear, a familiar nervous habit. But not everyone gets a sister like you out of it. My calendar notification pops up. 2 weeks until my flight. You sure your floor is comfortable enough for my old bones? I've got an actual air mattress now. Pure luxury. She grins. We'll eat better than last time. The memory of our first reunion dinner floods back, sitting cross-legged on her empty apartment floor, slurping instant noodles from mugs because she hadn't unpacked dishes. I don't know. I tease. Those floor noodles were pretty special. You cried into yours. So did you. We laugh, the kind of deep laughter that heals something with each echo. Remember what you said that night? I ask. Hazel nods, suddenly serious. For the first time, I actually feel like we're a real family. I glance at the framed photo I keep next to my computer. Hazel and me on that first night, teary-eyed but smiling, noodle cups raised in a toast. It's the only family photo I display now. They took a lot from us, I say quietly. But they accidentally gave us something too. What's that? The truth that set us free. I touch the edge of the frame, and this unbreakable bond between sisters. Hazel wipes her eyes, not hiding her emotions anymore. Worth every penny they stole. The Madrid sun sets completely as we continue planning our future, one built on trust instead of lies, support instead of manipulation, and a different kind of wealth entirely.